Hello everyone and welcome to another video review. I'm Rodney Reynolds with TheGameMan.com, and today I'm looking at the Nanoxia Deep Space 5 mid-tower case, or as they coin it, big tower case. And as you can see, it is pretty darn big. The box is extremely informative. It has all kinds of pictures of the product on it, plus plenty of features and specifications. And on each side they provide a hole. This is for carrying the case, and that's great if you're picking it up in store. As well, on the sides they indicate what color the case is. The case comes in 3 different colors, and actually at the front they indicate whether it's the windowed version or not. Enough about that, let's open it up and see what's inside. Included is a detailed color user's manual, which will come in handy when you're installing all that computer goodness. Now this case is somewhere between a mid-tower and a full tower, thus the big tower, which they are calling it. It's mainly comprised of steel, but there is some plastic, like for example this plastic front bezel. As well, it comes in 3 different colors. You've got this beautiful white color, as well as black, but also a gunmetal or anthracite color. At the top you can install up to 2 optional 120 or 140 millimeter fans, but it comes like this, completely blocked. There's no point in having this open if there's no fans installed. And actually below here is acoustic dampening material, and I'll show you that a little later on in the video review. At the top of the front bezel you'll find the power button in the center, along with the power LED around it. There are 4 USB ports. 2 of them are USB 2 and the other 2 are USB 3, as well as the audio jacks for the mic and headphones. At the front there are 2 doors, and each of these are held into place with magnets. Also, they come with acoustic dampening material. Here's the reset button, their logo, 4 5.25-inch drive bays, and these drive bay covers, note they are mesh. They also double as dust filters. See how easy that came out? Well, it goes back just as easily. As well, you've got fan speed controls here. Now have a closer look at the acoustic dampening material that's just on the inside of each door, as well the rubber pieces. Note though that these doors cannot swing from the other side. Just inside here are 2 140 millimeter intake fans and 2 removable dust filters. To remove either the filters or the fans, just press on the left side. It will pop out like so. To remove the filter, just kind of yank it out like so. Putting it back is just as easy. And the fan can come out very easily as well. These 2 clips, pop it out, and you can just remove the fan if need be. And these 2 fans will intake cool air through the ventilation holes that are on each side of the front panel. Now, while this particular model doesn't have a window on the left side panel, you can get one that does. And I think it would be pretty neat, especially since it is a white case. If you want to bling this thing up, it will be great to see the inside. At the back of the case, at the very top, are 4 rubber grommeted holes for water cooling tubes and or cables to pass through. They include a 140 millimeter exhaust fan, but you can optionally install a 120 millimeter fan if need be. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed, and there are 10 ventilated expansion slots, extra ventilation, plus you can install a standard ATX power supply at the bottom. As well, they include 4 thumb screws, 2 on each side panel. Each side panel has acoustic dampening material, but it's a little bit different. The left side panel has this kind of acoustic dampening material throughout the entire panel, and I'll show you what the acoustic dampening material looks like on the other panel a little later on. Inside the case is this accessory box, and in it is a 5 1/4-inch to 3.5-inch drive bay cover. Note that it is black mesh to match the other ones. You've got 4 rubber grommets to cover the holes on the back of the case. Remember those holes that you can route water cooling tubes and or cables through? Well, maybe you want to fill 1 or 2 or all of them. Well, you can. As well included is a bag of screws for installing the drives, the motherboard, and everything else inside of the case, plus cable ties and 2 motherboard extension cables. Now there's lots of room to work on the inside of this case. It fits extended ATX, extra large ATX, ATX, micro ATX, and mini ITX form factor motherboards as well. You can see that there's a large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate, plus lots of rubber grommeted holes to route the cables through, and there's plenty of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel. Now the top 4 5¼ drive bays have a toolless design, so you just slip the drive in and then secure it into place by just flipping this to the back. You can install up to 11 2.5-inch or 11 3.5-inch drives in this case. That's very impressive. There are 4 drive cages. One at the top which houses up to 3 drives. This middle one as well, 3 drives. The bottom one, 2 drives, and this one, 3 drives. To install either a 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch drive, just pinch on either side, pull the tray out, install the drive on the tray, and then slide it back into place. And by the way, this is a metal tray like the other ones, and they do have rubber grommets here for installing the 3.5-inch hard drive, and that will cut down on vibrations. None of the 10 expansion slots have a toolless design, but that doesn't matter because they have thumb screws, and that's just as good, if not better. Video card length will vary. It depends on whether you have the drive cages installed or not. If you have them installed, you can have a video card that is up to 338 millimeters in length. Without them installed though, you can have a video card that is up to 468 millimeters in length. A similar situation here for the power supply, although if you keep them all in, you can have a power supply that is up to around 200 millimeters in length, but anywhere from 200 all the way up to 468. As for cooler height, that's around 185 millimeters in height. Now these are the covers with the acoustic dampening material attached, so if you want to install a 120 or 140 millimeter fan at the top of the case, you will need to remove either one or both of these. And they have another piece of acoustic dampening material at the top front. This case has lots of water cooling potential. You can put a 240 or 280 millimeter radiator at the top. Lots of space for routing the tubes, the reservoir, and so on. Alternatively, you can install a 120 or 140 millimeter ALC or advanced liquid cooler at the back. Now as I mentioned before, both panels have acoustic dampening material, but they're different. This is the right side panel. This is the left side panel. And this makes sense because this acoustic dampening material would perform a little bit better, and that's really where all the noise is going to be hitting. It's the main compartment of the case, but this is on the back of the motherboard tray. Now these 2 top hard drive cages can be removed very easily just by lifting this tab on the back, and then you can just push or pull from the other side and it comes right out. You can remove the bottom one, but it does require taking off a number of screws. Now take a closer look behind the motherboard tray. Again, note all of the rubber grommeted holes to route the cables through, but there are also lots of punch-outs to attach them. Now there's a removable dust filter at the bottom of the case, and it slides from the back like so. This is for the power supply intake fan, and also for the optional 120 millimeter or 140 millimeter fan that you can install just at the bottom inside of the case. But this is very easy to remove, clean, and then just slide right back in. Also at the bottom are 4 very attractive silver feet, and each one of these has rubber on it. That's to protect the surface that it goes on, but also to cut down on vibrations. Now these feet are rather tall. That's perfect, especially if you are putting the case on a soft surface like carpet, because it will elevate it enough so those bottom fans can do their job. Finally, have a listen to the stock cooling, remembering that they have 2 140 millimeter fans intaking air at the front of the case and 1 140 millimeter fan exhausting air at the back. This big tower case is loaded with features. It comes in 3 different colors, and you can get a model with a window on the left side panel. I love the overall styling on this case. It is simple and elegant. The overall build quality as well is exceptional. Now, I'm not a big fan of doors, but it does preserve the look on the front of the case. Also, this case is rather heavy. Remember, it's 16.2 kilograms, but all things considered, this is a kick-ass product. Until next time, take care.